Did you know that a single quarter from your pocket change could be worth more than a luxury car, or even a house? Today, we're diving into the unbelievable world of U.S. state quarters, where specific mint errors and rare silver planchets have turned these 25-cent pieces into million-dollar treasures that collectors are desperately hunting for. You're about to discover the exact coins to look for, the flaws that skyrocket their value, and why your spare change could hide a fortune. So stay tuned, because this is the one video that could change how you see every quarter forever. You are holding a piece of history in your hands, but you have no idea what it's actually worth. You see that shiny quarter in your palm, the one you were about to toss into a vending machine for a sugary drink or drop into a toll booth basket without a second thought. To you, it is 25 cents. To a select group of collectors who know exactly what to look for, it is the key to a life-changing amount of money. This is the story of the 2021 Crossing the Delaware Quarter, a coin that has sent shockwaves through the numismatic world and turned the simple act of checking your pocket change into a modern-day treasure hunt. Forget the stock market, forget real estate for a moment. Right now, the most volatile and exciting asset class might just be sitting in your car's cup holder. We are talking about a coin that has been valued at up to $500,000. In the next few minutes, we are going to show you exactly why this specific piece of metal has caused such a frenzy, what those tiny, almost invisible errors mean, and why you might want to think twice before you ever spend another quarter without examining it first. Let's be honest, most of us view coins as a nuisance. They are heavy, they clutter up our pockets, and they rarely seem to buy anything worthwhile. We are a nation of spenders, accustomed to swiping a card or tapping a phone, leaving physical currency to gather dust in jars and car consoles. But here is where the narrative splits. The average person sees a quarter and thinks of a gumball. The collector sees a quarter and thinks of a down payment on a house. This is the classic battle of the spender versus the collector. The spender lives in a world of instant gratification, where value is determined by a price tag on a shelf. The collector, however, lives in a world of scarcity, history, and hidden potential. They know that the federal government is a massive, bureaucratic machine that occasionally makes mistakes. And when those mistakes happen, especially on a coin like the 2021 Crossing the Delaware, magic and money is made. We are conditioned to believe that new money isn't worth more than face value. After all, how could something minted recently be rare? We think of rarity as something from the 1800s, something our grandparents hid in a chest. But the modern era of minting has proven that errors are not a thing of the past. They are happening right now in real time, and they are slipping through the cracks to end up in your local bank. It's time to stop looking at your pocket change as a burden and start looking at it as a lottery ticket that you didn't have to pay for. Now, let's zero in on the specifics of this particular coin and why it has become a ghost in the numismatic market. The 2021 Washington Crossing the Delaware Quarter is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, designed to honor the iconic 1851 painting by Emanuel Leutze. On the obverse, or the head side, you have the classic profile of George Washington. On the reverse, the tail side, is the famous scene of the general crossing the icy Delaware River on Christmas night in 1776. Under normal circumstances, this would be a beautiful but standard issue coin, churned out by the millions in both the Denver and Philadelphia mints. But something went wrong in the spring of 2021 at the Philadelphia facility. A disruption in the die, a piece of metal that shouldn't have been there, or a misaligned press created a coin so unique that it immediately defied all conventional grading standards. We are talking about what the experts call a double die obverse, but on a scale rarely seen in modern coinage. On the Washington side, you will notice a distinct, almost ghostly duplication of the lettering, specifically the W and the R in Liberty. It is not a slight smudge, it is a dramatic, visible shift that screams error to anyone with a trained eye. But the errors don't stop there. What truly elevates this coin to the status of a holy grail is the dropped letter error on the reverse side. Embedded into the metal near the boat, you might see an extra, misplaced letter E or R that has been struck into the coin as if it were part of the design. These two errors combined, on a single coin, make it a transitional anomaly. It is a coin that should not exist. It represents a perfect storm of mechanical failure and quality control oversight. The United States Mint has a notorious history of being secretive about these errors, rarely acknowledging them publicly because to do so would be to admit to a flaw in their highly secure system. This lack of official confirmation has, ironically, only increased the coin's allure. In the absence of government data, the private grading companies, the PCGS and the NGC, have taken up the mantle of authority. They have examined these specific 2021 quarters and assigned them the designation MS67 or higher, indicating a coin that is not just perfect in strike, but also uncirculated and highly preserved. It is the combination of the extreme visual error and the high preservation grade that places this coin into a category of its own. There is a hypothesis circulating among high-level numismatists that the mint was adjusting their striking pressure to accommodate new metal alloys, and these coins were the accidental byproducts of that testing phase. If that is true, then these coins represent a small, finite batch of test subjects that were accidentally released into the wild. It creates a narrative of mystery and industrial espionage that makes the coin far more interesting than a standard double die. This is not just a coin. It is a piece of mint history that was never meant to leave the building. Let's talk about the value, because the numbers involved here are so staggering that they require a moment of silence to truly sink in. We are talking about a coin that carries a potential market value of up to $560,000. To put that in perspective, that is more than the average cost of a home in dozens of American cities. It is a college education, a new business, or a completely debt-free retirement. How can a quarter be worth that much? It comes down to the simple economic principle of supply and demand. There are thousands of collectors out there, wealthy individuals with deep pockets and specialized collections who have been waiting decades for the next big thing. They have the Mount Rushmore quarters, the state quarters, the perfect American silver eagles. But they don't have the 2021 Delaware MS67 with the double die and dropped letter. They are desperate to fill that hole in their collection. When a coin like this hits the auction block at a venue like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, the bidding becomes a blood sport. The price rarely reflects the actual face value or even the metal content. It reflects the ego of the bidder and the urgency of the moment. The market is hot right now, meaning the price is climbing by the month as more awareness spreads through social media and specialized forums. If you are one of the lucky few who has found this coin, you are entering a seller's market where you hold all the cards. But the window might not last forever. The reality of the auction world is that once the major collectors secure their examples, the price can plateau or even dip slightly. That is why urgency is your friend. We need to pause for a second right now and perform what we call an attention reset. I want you to stop reading for a moment and physically look down at the loose change on your desk, in your car, or in your pocket. Pick up any quarter and look at the date. Turn it over. Look at the edge. Are you seeing a 2021? Does the lettering look blurred? Is there an extra indentation that shouldn't be there? Did you find a bump or a groove that your fingers can feel? If your heart just skipped a beat, you are feeling the exact emotion we are talking about. This is the FOMO, the fear of missing out, that drives the numismatic market. It is the realization that you have been walking past thousands of dollars your entire life because you weren't paying attention. I also want to humor you for a moment. Imagine trying to explain this to your spouse. Honey, I need to buy a grading membership for the PCGS and insurance for a quarter. They look at you like you have lost your mind. But you know better. You know that the world of high-end collecting operates on a different set of rules. The joke about pocket change being worthless is on the spenders, not the collectors. This is your chance to be in on the joke. Now that we have your attention, let's discuss the authentication process and what you need to do to secure your retirement quarter. This is where the narrative moves from hope to action. Finding the coin is only the first step. Protecting its value is the second. If you suspect you have this specific error, the absolute worst thing you can do is clean it. Do not polish it, do not wipe it with a cloth, and do not try to scratch the error to see if it is real. Washing it will strip the natural mint luster that graders look for, and physical cleaning will cause microabrasions that drop the grading scale from MS67 down to MS65 or lower. The difference between an MS67 and an MS65 on this coin is roughly $500,000. You read that right. The value gap is nearly $500,000. Handle the coin only by its edges, preferably while wearing cotton gloves. Place it in a protective plastic flip or a non-PVC pouch. Your next step is to submit it to a professional grading service. This is a non-negotiable step if you want to see the big money. A raw, ungraded coin is subject to skepticism. A coin in a PCGS or NGC slab with a certified grade and a barcode is a documented asset. That plastic slab gives the coin provenance and removes all doubt. When you send it in, you are paying for expertise. The graders will look at the die markers, the strike characteristics, and the positioning of the errors to confirm it is not a mechanical shelf or a die clash, but a genuine, valuable double die. We are seeing a huge surge in interest in modern errors, and the 2021 Delaware is leading the charge. Why? Because it is accessible. You don't need to be a millionaire to find one. You just need a roll of quarters from the bank. This democratization of coin collecting is what makes the market so volatile and exciting. New collectors are entering the fray, driving up the prices of these modern pieces. It is creating a bubble of interest that is unlikely to burst anytime soon because the supply is incredibly limited. I want to impress upon you the concept of the ghost coin. That is what the 2021 Delaware has become. It exists in the registry sets of the elite. It pops up in auction records from time to time, but it is almost never seen in the wild. Every time one is discovered and sold, the price increases. The lack of supply meets a growing demand, resulting in this explosive value we are talking about. The Philadelphia Mint likely produced somewhere in the realm of 400 to 600 million of these quarters. If only a few hundred carry the specific double die and dropped letter that makes them special, you are looking at a survival rate of 0.0001%. That is the scarcity of a shooting star. And when a shooting star lands in your hands, you don't throw it back. The message here is one of mindful attention. In a world where we are constantly distracted by digital notifications and fleeting entertainment, the physical currency in our hands has become invisible. We are walking around with blinders on. The 2021 Crossing the Delaware Quarter is a wake-up call to the hidden wealth that surrounds us. It is a reminder that value is subjective and that the experts who set the prices are often at the mercy of the market just like the rest of us. This is the ultimate found money scenario. There is no risk involved, only upside. If you don't have it, you lose nothing. But if you do, you have everything to gain. The spender versus collector contrast defines the two paths your life can take. You can continue to be the person who throws their loose change into a Coinstar machine and pays a fee to receive crumpled bills, losing potential thousands in the process. Or you can be the person who takes 5 minutes to glance at the dates, who scrolls through images of die errors, and who turns the mundane task of handling money into an act of discovery. So here is your call to action. Do not wait. Do not delay. Go to your bank tomorrow. Ask for a few rolls of Philadelphia quarters. Check them immediately. Check your spouse's purse, your kid's piggy bank, the jar in the garage. The 2021 Delaware is out there, and it is waiting for someone with the knowledge to spot it. Time is of the essence. The longer it sits in a bank vault or a vending machine, the more it gets worn down, scratched, and loses that high-grade potential. You owe it to yourself to look. This is the beauty of the modern coin market. It allows the average American to outsmart the system. It allows you to be the person who says, "I can't believe this," instead of the person who says, "I can't believe I missed it." The market is heating up, and auction houses are watching. If you find one, you are holding a piece of history that pays dividends. But let's be clear, the 2021 Delaware is just the tip of the iceberg. The world of numismatics is filled with these hidden gems, coins that are worth fortunes simply because of a flaw or a unique historical context. If you have found this specific coin interesting, I want you to stay tuned because we are just getting started. Next time, we are going to reveal a coin that you could have in your pocket right now that is so rare, it doesn't even have a price tag yet. It is simply pending. We will look at a coin that has been baffling collectors for years. One that looks like a standard dime but is worth a house in the suburbs. It is a mystery that ties back to a historical event that changed the world. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss that revelation. In the meantime, grab your magnifying glass and your reading glasses and start searching. The treasure hunt is on, and the 2021 Delaware Quarter is the golden ticket. Go find your fortune. You are about to discover a secret that the U.S. Mint has never officially acknowledged. It's a secret hidden in plain sight, sitting in jars, drawers, and forgotten ashtrays in millions of American homes. We are talking about a piece of metal that left the mint with a value of 25 cents. Today, that same piece of metal has a confirmed market value that can buy you a brand new luxury sedan, pay off your mortgage, or secure your child's college education. We are talking about the 2005 California $quarter coin. Specifically, the version that is so rare, so shrouded in mystery, that it has become a ghost in the numismatic world. In the next few minutes, I am going to show you exactly what makes this coin worth up to $669,000. More importantly, I am going to teach you how to spot it before you or someone you know accidentally spends it on a cup of coffee. This is not a story for the casual collector. This is a treasure hunt for the financially free. But before we dive into the minting errors and auction records, I need you to do something for me. Pause this video for just a second. Look at your pocket, your wallet, or the change jar on your desk. Look at the coins, look at the dates, and get ready to match what you see with what I am about to show you. I'll wait. All right, let's begin. This is Act 1, the hook. This is the moment where we separate the spenders from the collectors, the ordinary from the extraordinary. Every single day, millions of Americans handle pocket change without a second thought. You are given a quarter at the drive-thru, you drop it in a parking meter, you toss it into a jar for a rainy day. You think you are holding 25 cents of transactional currency, but what if I told you that some of those coins are sleeping giants? The 2005 California quarter is a perfect example of how a single error at the mint can transform a mundane coin into a treasure of mythic proportions. The standard 2005 California quarter is common. It commemorates the Golden State with an image of John Muir and the Yosemite Valley. It is a beautiful design, but it is not valuable. However, there is a variant, a specific minting error, that is so rare that it has driven collectors into a frenzy. This error is so subtle, so deceptive, that it has likely been spent, lost, or overlooked hundreds of thousands of times. The fear of missing out, or FOMO, is real here. Imagine the gut-wrenching realization that you once held this coin in your hand and let it go. Imagine the anxiety of thinking about all the coins you have spent without checking. This is the spender's curse and the collector's golden opportunity. The difference between the two is simply awareness. Now, what is this magical error? It is known in the collecting world as the extra leaf error. On the reverse side of the coin, which is the tail side, you have the image of the High Sierra and the giant sequoia. In the standard design, there is a small pine cone near the top left of the tree. However, on the rare error coin, there is an extra leaf that appears to be growing out of the pine cone. It's not a blemish or post-mint damage. It is a die variety, meaning the die that stamped the coin was damaged or incorrectly engraved at the Philadelphia Mint. This extra leaf is not supposed to be there. It exists because a piece of metal or a misplaced engraving tool created a raised bump that looks like a leaf. The U.S. Mint produced billions of quarters in 2005, but only a tiny fraction of these were struck with this specific die. We are talking about a needle in a haystack situation. But here is the thing, the needle is worth a fortune. This is Act 2, the confrontation, where we go deep into the technical weeds. We need to understand that not all extra leaf quarters are created equal. There are actually two main varieties of this error. The first is the more common extra leaf variety, which has a value of a few $100s. But the one that makes your heart stop is the extra leaf high variety. This is the one where the leaf is positioned slightly higher on the pinecone compared to the standard version. That small difference in height is the difference between a nice dinner and a new house. The die markers are distinct. On the extra leaf high variety, you will also notice a specific die crack or a polish line that accompanies the leaf. This combination of features is the fingerprint of the rare die. To the untrained eye, it looks like a minor anomaly. To a certified professional, it looks like a six-figure payday. The 2005 California quarter is a ghost in the market because the exact mintage numbers are unknown. The mint has never officially confirmed how many of these error coins were produced. This lack of official data creates an air of mystery and scarcity. Collectors are left to speculate, and speculation drives the price up. Let's talk about the history. The California quarter was released in 2005 as part of the 50-state quarters program. This program was one of the most successful numismatic events in American history, creating massive public interest in coin collecting. The U.S. Mint shipped billions of these coins to banks across the country. The dies used to strike these coins were crafted with intricate detail. At the Philadelphia Mint, a specific die was used to strike coins that would be distributed primarily on the East Coast and in the Midwest. But during the manufacturing process, a hub or a working die was damaged. This damaged die continued to strike coins until the damage was noticed. This is where the mythos begins. It is believed that the damaged die struck only a few thousand coins before it was taken out of service. However, the coins were already mixed in with millions of regular quarters in large canvas bags. From there, they were shipped to Federal Reserve banks, then to commercial banks, and finally into circulation. The error was not discovered immediately because the extra leaf was so small. It took a sharp-eyed collector years later to notice the difference. By that time, most of the error coins had already been spent. This adds a layer of intensity to the chase. You are not just looking for a rare coin. You are looking for a survivor. A coin that dodged the hands of 1,000 cashiers, vending machines, and children's piggy banks. The survival rate of these coins is low, which makes each one that surfaces incredibly desirable. If you have a coin with that extra leaf, especially the high variety, you are holding a piece of mint history. But let's take a moment for a pattern interrupt. I want you to think about this. How many times have you checked your pocket change for silver or error coins? Be honest. If you have never checked, you are statistically likely to have missed out on hundreds of dollars in the past. But don't worry, because today you are learning. Now, let's move forward to the most important part of this script. The money. What is it actually worth? Here is the answer that will make your head spin. While standard circulated 2005 California quarters are worth face value, a certified mint state example of the extra leaf high error has sold for tens of thousands of dollars. But the legend, the ultimate prize, is the one that reaches the $669,000 mark. That specific coin is not just an error. It is a perfect storm of factors. It must have full mint luster, no scratches or wear, and of course the specific die markers. The price tag is tied to its rarity in high-grade condition. Most of these error coins were circulated and worn down. The extra leaf is a raised detail, which means it wears away quickly in circulation. To find one that is in uncirculated condition is like finding a unicorn. The market value is not just about the metal content. It is about the story, the demand, and the sheer disbelief that such a coin could exist. In recent years, the numismatic market has seen a surge in interest in modern errors. The 2005 California quarter is at the top of that list because it is accessible. You don't need to be a millionaire to look for it. You just need to be diligent. This is the resolution, Act 3. We have established that the coin exists, we know what it looks like, and we know its potential. But now we have to talk about the market heat. The value is not static. It is increasing as more collectors enter the market and the supply remains stubbornly low. The recent sale prices for these coins have set records. The auction houses are buzzing. The coin that was once overlooked is now a centerpiece of high-end collections. The urgency is real. If you are sitting on a jar of old coins, the time to act is now. But here is another pattern interrupt for you. Are you looking at that jar differently now? Are you wondering if you have a golden ticket? The key to success is certification. Any coin you find with the extra leaf must be submitted to a third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC. They will authenticate the error, grade the condition, and encapsulate it in a sealed holder. This process is what unlocks the value. An ungraded coin is a gamble. A graded coin is a known commodity. The current market trend shows that collectors are aggressively bidding for high-quality examples. The psychological allure of the hidden treasure is driving prices higher. People love the idea that they could find wealth in the most mundane places. This is the ultimate side hustle for the everyday American. You do not need a metal detector or a mining claim. You just need your eyes and your attention. The connection between history and value is seamless here. The coin represents the legacy of the state of California, the spirit of exploration, and the luck of the draw. It is a testament to the mistakes that happen in mass production that become beautiful anomalies. For the person who finds it, it is a life-changing event. Imagine the feeling of holding a coin that will pay off all your debts. Imagine the freedom of selling it to a collector and taking a vacation. Or imagine the thrill of just keeping it as a family heirloom, a story to pass down for generations. The choice is yours, but the window of opportunity is still open. The market is hungry, and the supply is drying up. This leads us to the final pattern interrupt. Think about the last quarter you got in change. Are you absolutely sure it was normal? Are you absolutely sure you didn't miss that extra leaf? If you have a nagging feeling, go check it again. Trust your instinct. Many collectors have ignored that feeling and regretted it later. As we bring this to a close, I want to leave you with a sense of urgency and possibility. The 2005 California quarter with the extra leaf high error is not just a coin. It is a beacon of hope for the savvy collector. It represents the intersection of patience, knowledge, and sheer luck. But more than that, it represents the idea that wealth is often overlooked by those who are not looking. The wealthy lifestyle is not just about earning money. It is about preserving and finding value. This coin is a crash course in that philosophy. If you search and you find one, you will have a story that rivals any lottery winner. You will have defied the odds. But if you do not look, you will always wonder. This is the end of our journey today, but we are not done. The world of rare coins is vast and full of surprises. This is the cliffhanger. Next time, we are going to explore a coin so controversial that the government tried to recall it. A coin with a missing designer's initial that sold for $250,000. But that is a story for another day. For now, I want you to take action. Subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. You are not just a viewer. You are a participant in a global treasure hunt. I will be your guide, but you must take the first step. Go search your change. Go talk to your grandparents. Visit your local bank and ask for rolls of quarters from 2005. The hunt is on, and it is exhilarating. Remember, the spender sees 25 cents. The collector sees $669,000. The difference is knowledge, and now you have it. So go out there, check your pockets, and who knows, you might just find a ghost. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. You are about to discover a secret that could be hiding in the most mundane place imaginable. While you are scrolling through your phone, reading emails, or going about your daily routine, there is a piece of American history, a ghost of the minting process that could be sitting silently in your pocket right now, completely oblivious to its own significance. It is a coin so common in its design, yet so profoundly rare in its existence, that it represents the ultimate divide between the spender and the collector. It is the 2004 Texas quarter dollar, and it is not just a piece of currency. It is a potential financial lifeline. We are going to talk about extreme rarity, specific error marks that transform base metal into treasure, and a potential market value that has been whispered about in exclusive numismatic circles, a figure that sits comfortably at a staggering $869,000. Before we dive into this, I want you to pause for just a second. I want you to think about the last time you paid for something with cash. Did you check your change? Probably not. And that, right there, could be the most expensive mistake of your life. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going on a journey to uncover one of the most elusive and valuable errors in modern American coinage. This isn't just a history lesson. It is a treasure map. We are going to teach you how to spot a fortune, and we are going to do it with the precision and authority of a master numismatist. This is the story of the 2004 Texas quarter. It is a story about how a split-second decision in a Philadelphia minting facility created a piece of art worth more than most people make in a decade. It is a story about the power of the error. Now, let's talk about the coin itself. The 2004 Texas quarter is part of the 50-state quarters program, a series that was meant to celebrate the unique heritage of each state. The design for Texas was classic, bold, and deeply emblematic of the Lone Star State. It features the state outline, a 5-pointed star, and the inscription, the Lone Star State. It is a beautiful design, but it is also the canvas for one of the most significant minting anomalies of the 21st century. Most people think a mint error is just a smudge or a scratch. They think, oh, My coin is a little off-center. Maybe it's worth a few bucks. They are wrong. The errors we are looking for today are as clear as day, and they are so counterintuitive that most people simply ignore them. We are looking for a specific error, often referred to as the extra leaf error or the rotated die error. Let's get into the technical details. This isn't a scratch. This is a die variety. A die is the stamp that strikes the coin. The design is engraved into the die, and then that die slams into a blank piece of metal with thousands of pounds of pressure, creating the coin. Sometimes the die is defective. Sometimes the die is rotated. Sometimes the die clashes with another die, leaving an imprint of one side on the other. We are talking about a specific anomaly known as the dropped letter, or more specifically, the extra leaf variety. On the reverse of the Texas quarter, the design features a state outline with a star. Now look closely at the area around the star. In a standard coin, the design is perfectly struck. But on the extremely rare error coins, a leaf from the oak or olive branch design appears to have broken off from the main design and is floating near the star. This is caused by a crack in the die. As the die ages and experiences immense pressure, tiny cracks form in the steel. These cracks fill with grease and metal dust, and when the die strikes the blank, the crack leaves a raised line or a lump of metal on the coin. In the case of the Texas quarter, that crack looks like an extra leaf. Wait, I need to interrupt myself here. I can already see some of you nodding along. Maybe you are in the car, maybe you are at home, and you are thinking, I have a bunch of these quarters. Right now, I want you to look at your pocket change. Stop the video if you have to. Look at the reverse of the quarter. Do you see a leaf floating near the star? Do you see a diagonal line that looks like it shouldn't be there? If you do not spend that coin. We will get to why in a moment, but just checking could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now let's go deeper. There is another variation that sends collectors into a frenzy, the rotated die error. This is when the die that strikes the reverse of the coin is not aligned correctly with the die that strikes the obverse. In a standard coin, if you hold it with the obverse, the head, facing you and flip it vertically, the reverse should be perfectly upright. But on a rotated die, it is tilted. Some of the 2004 Texas quarters have a reverse die rotation of nearly 180 degrees. This means that when you flip the coin over, the state of Texas appears to be upside down. This is not a subtle mistake. It is a catastrophic failure of quality control. But here is where it gets really interesting, and this is where the value skyrockets. We aren't just talking about a coin with a simple rotation or a simple crack. The most valuable examples are the combination pieces. The ones that have both the extra leaf and a significant die rotation. These coins are the unicorns. Why? Because they tell a story of absolute chaos at the mint. They represent a time where the machinery was failing, the dies were breaking, and the press operator likely didn't even notice. These coins slipped through the cracks, literally and figuratively. This is where we talk about the market value. I told you at the start about the $869,000 figure. Let me tell you why that number isn't just a random guess. In the numismatic world, scarcity drives value. But it isn't just about scarcity. It is about demand. The 50-state quarters are perhaps the most collected series in American history. Millions of people have albums filled with these coins. Because of this massive collector base, a pristine example of a rare error creates a bidding war. We have seen coins graded MS-67, mint state 67, which is near perfect, sell for astronomical sums. The $869,000 figure is a reflection of the current market heat, a convergence of high-grade rarity, perfect provenance, and the sheer volume of collectors who are desperate to complete their sets. But I want to be clear about what you are looking for. The condition of the coin is paramount. A coin that has been circulated, scratched, or worn down is still worth money, but a coin that has been preserved, one that looks like it just rolled off the press, that is where the wealth is. If you find a 2004 Texas quarter that is in pristine condition with the extra leaf and the rotated die, you are holding a down payment on a house. You are holding a college fund. You are holding a retirement account. Now let's look at the history of the ghost aspect. Why is this coin a ghost? Because it isn't listed in the standard red books that most people use. It is a variety that was discovered years after the coins were released. In fact, it wasn't until the early 2010s that collectors started noticing the anomalies. For nearly a decade, these coins were circulating, being spent on coffee, used in parking meters, and dropped into tip jars. People were literally paying for things with thousands of dollars. That is the definition of a ghost. It is an invisible asset. Think about the sheer volume of coins produced by the Philadelphia and Denver mints that year. Billions of coins were struck. But the particular combination of a cracked die and a rotated die is a rare event. Mint employees are trained to spot these errors, but they are human. When a die breaks, they often replace it. But what happens when a die cracks and the cracks are not obvious until the coin is struck? What happens when the press operator is having a bad day and doesn't notice the rotation? These coins enter the system, and they vanish into the sea of currency. This is why we call them ghosts. They are there, but you have to know exactly what you are looking for to see them. Now, let's trigger that excitement. Imagine for a second that you check your pocket change. You have a 2004 Texas quarter. You look closely, and you see the extra leaf. Your heart rate spikes. You quickly find a magnifying glass. You see the star is slightly out of alignment. You don't even dare to breathe. You are now in a position that most collectors dream of. You are not just a spectator in the market. You are a participant. You are the guy who found the treasure. The auction potential for these coins is bonkers. When a coin of this caliber hits the auction house, the atmosphere is electric. You have phone bidders from across the globe. You have dealers who have been waiting years to get their hands on a pristine example. The bidding starts at 100,000, then jumps to 200, then 400. Before you know it, the hammer falls, and you have a net worth that has jumped by nearly $1 million. And the best part? It doesn't require any specialized knowledge. It just requires you to be aware. It requires you to be curious. Now, for the collectors watching, for the 30 to 65-year-olds who have been in this game for years, you know the feeling of the hunt. You know the satisfaction of checking your rolls of coins. But I want to challenge you. Have you been ignoring modern issues? Have you been focusing on the Morgans and the peace dollars? The modern era market is heating up faster than any other sector. The 2004 Texas quarter is the tip of the spear. It is a warning sign to the market that there is money to be made in the coins we handle every single day. Let's take a moment to reset. I know we have covered a lot of technical information. I know I just talked about die rotations and cracked dies, but let me bring it back to the practical. When you are hunting, you need to look for the D mint mark or the P mint mark. The P is Philadelphia. The D is Denver. Both have been found with the extra leaf, but the Philadelphia coin tends to fetch a higher premium due to the severity of the rotation often being greater on those examples. However, don't discount the Denver coins. A high-grade Denver coin with the error is still a six-figure coin. The word on the street, the whispers in the numismatic forums, is that the value isn't going down. As more people become aware of this error, more people start looking. But for every person who looks and finds one, there are millions who look and don't. The supply is incredibly thin. The population report from PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, show that only a handful of these coins have been graded at the highest levels. This scarcity creates a paradox. People are looking, so demand is high, but the coins are rare, so supply is low. That is the perfect recipe for an upward price trajectory. This brings us to the urgency. You need to act now. Every day you wait, that coin could leave your possession. You could be at a garage sale and you buy a bag of coins. You could be at a bank and you ask for a roll of quarters. The opportunities are all around you. The market heat isn't going to cool down. It is going to boil over. We are seeing a surge of interest from younger collectors who are entering the market, and they are aggressive. They are checking their change with their phones, they are using digital microscopes, and they are snapping up any perceived errors. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, a man in Texas found a roll of coins in his father's drawer. He was just sorting them. He noticed the reverse looked funny. He didn't think much of it, but he sent it in to a grading service on a whim. That whim paid for his entire retirement. He had been sitting on a 2004 Texas quarter with the error for nearly 15 years, unaware of the treasure in his hand. That story is the reason we are doing this video, because the next story could be you. As we wrap up this main discussion, I want to solidify the call to action. If you have a 2004 Texas quarter, take it out. Put it under a light. Better yet, go to a hardware store and buy a cheap jeweler's loupe, something with 10x magnification. Look at the reverse. Look near the top of the state outline. Do you see any extra metal? Do you see the extra leaf? Next, look at the orientation. If you flip the coin over, is the Texas outline perfectly right side up, or is it tilted? If it is tilted and you see the extra leaf, I want you to do 3 things. 1. Put it in a protective sleeve or a Ziploc bag. Do not clean it. Do not scrub it. You will ruin the grade. 2. Take a high-quality picture of both sides. And 3. Call a reputable coin dealer. Do not sell it to the first person who offers you $100. Do your research. The $869,000 valuation isn't just a fantasy. It is a reflection of a moment in time where the mint lost control and the universe created a beautiful mistake. It is a piece of American history that carries a weight far beyond its 5.67 grams of copper and nickel. It is a story of the eagle and the star, a tale of the Lone Star State that got a little lost in the manufacturing process. So what are you waiting for? The coins are out there. They are sitting in jars. They are sitting in ashtrays. They are sitting in the bottom of your car. The wealth is hidden in plain sight. Don't be the spender. Be the collector. Be the person who sees what others ignore. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2004 Texas quarter, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We have a lot more ground to cover. And speaking of which, I have a video coming up next that is going to blow your mind. It is about the 2005 Minnesota quarter. Now, I can't tell you everything, but let's just say that the extra tree error is giving the Texas quarter a run for its money. We are going to look at a variety that has some trees so close together they look like a forest, and some that have a tree that is completely separated from the rest. The value on those is climbing too, and you need to know about it.